Because that was like the first couple of takes. You're gonna keep looking for that. Probably pick the wrong one. So we're gonna do this. All right.
Ready?
Go.
Hey everybody, I'm Steven the S. Holder.
How you doing, Jaquan Ponatello Brown?
Z.
And we're brothers on site. We're outside, literally. It's kind of cold, but to me it feels good. It feels pretty decent.
He's lying.
Unbelievable.
Long story short, we weren't really trying to start the first show this soon, but there was a topic that was really on my mind that I really wanted to share with you all, because the holiday season is coming up. It's going to be malls packed, Black Friday. People act like that's a holiday now. I've never done Black Friday.
Only Black holiday.
Nah, ooh.
I'm joking.
But basically, my question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, as a country or even with your family, how prepared are we for acts of terror? It's becoming part of like our everyday lives. We had the Vegas thing earlier this year. There was Paris. There was New York. You said there was Texas today.
Texas today.
It's becoming a regular thing. But how prepared are we really for these things?
Zero.
To be 100% honest, yeah, you gotta agree with him. I think there's very few people out there that really know how to handle themselves in an active shooter situation. And let's be honest, I mean, if anything were to happen, all common sense tends to go out the window and panic takes over. People just kind of lose their minds.
Oh, and another key point is the ones who actually are prepared to be the ones that are like considered conspiracy theorists and crazy people.
Preppers.
But hey, I want them on my side if something happens.
I look at, and I remember 9/11 was about 16 years ago. And everybody, we were in high school. I remember, thank you, Liz Martin, for letting me use your phone. I didn't have a cell phone, but I was able to call my mom, make sure, we're okay. Where do we meet? What do we do? It's 16 years later, and I feel less prepared now than I was then. But this is part of our regular life, so I don't see why did we digress, it seems. Why is it such a shock, even though it happens so often now?
Well, generally speaking, I think as not just Americans, but I would say probably the majority of the developed world has gotten a lot softer as we become more and more reliant on technology to do the thinking for us, or even, I mean, I guess it's convenience, but at the end of the day, it seems to be breeding weakness in a lot of people. Like you said, how many people really know their family members' phone numbers anymore?
Right.
I mean,
right.
You think about it, like these phones are an extension of our mind, but for a lot of people, they are genuinely like the crutch that we all fall on. Like if you don't remember something, the first thing you do instead of continuing to think and forcing yourself to actually be, I guess, more active and present in your world is just defer to your phone or whatever, your tablet, your laptop, whatever, and just essentially search.
I think
Google
too, it's like out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. It's like, okay, if this doesn't happen consistently, then I really don't need to worry about it because everybody's so caught up in their own devices and everything. Like you said, their everyday life is like, oh well, this terrorist act happened then, and we're gonna not. And let me use this word. I don't mean to be facetious about this, but dwell on it, if you will. So like 9/11, when that time comes around, we always talk about like everybody that was lost and things and such. And it really was a tragic event, but then when other events like this happen, now it's like we can change our profile picture and put up a pray for whoever, pray for whatever, so everybody feel like they're participating in something. Was like, really, you're not doing. I mean, you're not doing shit. If I can be completely honest, you're not. Like you're putting up something. It's great that you want to pray and put up a frame, but
I was gonna say, I guess my thing is this. Over the years, we had fire drills growing up. We had tornado drills. We had to sit by the wall and do like this, and it hurts your neck. I remember all these things we were prepared for. In the 40s and 50s, they had, shelters in case a bomb was dropped.
That table was gonna save you when the bomb hit.
Right. But it was like there were procedures, and it seems like, in spite of so many common terror events, there's been nothing nationally or even on a local level as far as procedure on what to do if this occurs.
You know what?
You also just mentioned things that weren't necessarily terror involved, more so natural disasters. It was mixed. So the natural, for the natural disasters, it's kind of like, this tornado hit you underground, or if this, I don't know, earthquake, whatever it is, you find something to do. But if you got somebody running a school full of children, whatever, and you have them ducked off and being quiet, is it really going to protect them? So there's flaws in some of the things that are taught in the schools as far as how to protect them, you know, to protect the kids or whatever it is at the place. So.
But I remember there were times where in kindergarten you would go over numbers, but you also try to learn where's your address and what's your phone number. And I'm asking you all, do your children know your phone number? If something were to happen at their school, would they know how to reach out to you?
I bet you they have a cell phone.
The
With the phone number saved on it.
Right.
I'm sorry to
all you
make
gotta
a
do
joke
is hit
out
up
of it.
Siri and say, hey, call mom. You don't know the number by heart, but it's gonna call mom. You know what I'm saying?
But
I mean,
but is that a deficiency? Should your children know your number?
They should know one very essential number, like one or two, like.
Right.
I mean, I'm 32 right now, and I can tell you right now, I don't know most of the people's number by heart in my phone. And I can admit that I don't mind doing it, like, because for me, being honest, if I don't need to call those people on the regular, I don't care.
Right.
So as a kid, that's not the main thing on your mind, especially with, honestly, again, talking about the advancement of technology. You're worried about playing on your phone or contacting your friends, but you have so many other ways of contacting them other than a cell phone.
Well, yeah, exactly. Beyond the calling thing, we're talking about we live essentially in a time where social media is king and queen. So I guarantee you, like, okay, so a lot of kids probably don't have their parents following their real accounts and whatnot. But, like, right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, like, to be honest, I guarantee you that if something were to happen, it would hit Twitter before, like, mom or dad would get a text message. Like, you know, like, something happens, your natural reaction isn't necessarily like, oh, let me call mom, let me call dad. It's more so like, oh, let me tell the whole world this is actually happening and pass it on. Whether it be, like, something as tragic as, say, like, a terrorist attack, homegrown or otherwise, or two kids fighting in the hallway. Like, it's going to hit the internet before it makes it back to the parents'
It's going to be World Star on Twitter or Instagram before anybody gets called.
There'll be memes by, like, lunchtime.
But I guess the question is there a responsibility for us, like, to have a plan for our families, a check-in, if you will? Like, like, I know Facebook has one, but should there be a plan saying, yo, we're the holders, for example, and the holders in Milwaukee, we okay. Oh, we're the holders in Delaware, we okay. Well, is there a procedure that, I mean, you can't prevent crazy.
Right, right. Like, you're right, there's really no preventing crazy in it, like, at all. And I guess if you do want to implement some kind of communication plan with your family, it would be a smart idea. But like I said, when things really do hit the fan, I don't know how many people are really going to be able to, like, you know, live up to it. Like, there's a lot of people, like, I hate to bring this back up, but, like, let's go back to, like, that Vegas situation.
Right.
The whole active shooter scenario has been played out in a lot of workplaces, and I'm guaranteeing you that at least some people in that crowd had that level of training or preparation for that type of situation.
Right.
Granted, it might have not been that specific of situation, like, say, somebody shooting from a hotel balcony into a crowd. But, you know, everyone knows to disperse, everyone knows to move around.
Right.
But when the shots start ringing out, I mean, your animal instinct kicks in, and you're like, well, I gotta live. So, I mean, you know, like, I mean, things just happen.
I mean, it's more of a question of, should there be a procedure? Because this is becoming the norm. I hate to say it, and I almost didn't want to bring it up because you don't want to give people ideas. But it's the holiday season. There are concentrated groups of people. There has to be some wacko thinking, oh, I know what to do.
But here's the thing. Like, I think what you're talking about is more reactionary than preventative. Like, what really needs to happen is for people to become much more aware of their surroundings and kind of take a proactive approach to their own livelihood, in essence. I mean, like, I understand we live in a day and age where, like, you know, you don't have to worry about a coyote stealing your baby from his crib. But, like, you know? Like, I'm just saying. Like, right. But I'm just saying, like, there's crazy people everywhere. Like, you never know what that person next to you may do. Like, let's be, like, okay, so there's a social contract in place. That's kind of why society works. I'm not going to punch you in the face. You're not going to punch me in the face. We go about our day normally. But, like, just because you've agreed to it, you can't assume that everyone else has. So it's
Mm.
like, why are you not prepared to get punched in the face at any given time?
I get you.
It's situational. Like, for as much like you said, should we? It's more so like, yeah, we probably should. But when you're in the situation, like Zia said, it's kind of animal instinct. Like, you go and you do what you have to do at that very moment. It's easy for us to sit here and say what we should do or what we could do.
Right.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda goes completely out the fucking window when the situation actually, actually happens. Because it's like you said, like going back to the Vegas thing again. You're at a concert, right? This big ass country music festival.
Right.
You're out there listening to your music and everything. You hear shot sounds like fireworks. Like, we come from the hood. So if we hear gunshots on the 4th of July and fireworks, we can't distinguish between which is which. So either we jump on the floor or we're like, hey, let's see what happens when all this ends. Like, you get in a situation like that, but you know what you might do, but at the same time, you can't really say.
I guess the question, for example, after 9/11, there were a lot of changes made to, like, flight and airports and the policies and how to get through and security.
And some dude walked into a plane with a bomb in his shoe, and now we got to take our shoes off. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it's
but
a moving target.
but that was one adjustment that was actually made. It's not convenient and it is time consuming, but it was an adjustment. I'm asking, are there other adjustments that should be made because terrorism is becoming such a commonplace thing?
There could be, but then you start stepping on people's rights.
Exactly.
That's the problem. And let's be real, everyone knows that. Any level of higher intelligence, whether it's an agency, whatever it is, and it's just common sense. If you got somebody saying, okay, well, we fear this. Fear is the biggest thing
to give up rights.
You know how like it was real big on like sex sales, and I know it still does. Fear fucking sales. It's like if you tell people, oh, this is gonna happen, whether you're conspiracy theorists, whatever it is, this shit is real, or if it isn't. Right now, I really don't give a fuck. But if it happens, if it happens, it happens, and people are going to buy into whatever the hell you're selling them.
Well, no, I think sometimes people counter. I remember there was a conversation I had with somebody where they said, well, nothing can really happen here because there's nothing in Milwaukee worth attacking. So this is the mentality that people have to deflect fear. It's like, well, it can't happen here because there's nothing here.
Here's the no. Okay, stop. Like, okay, so since we're on site, we're like somewhere in the downtown area, and now as Steve is saying that, like, you know, people think of Milwaukee as a place where, you know, there's no, I guess, location of pure interest to any like foreign national terrorists or even, I mean, I won't speak for like homegrown terrorists. That's just a whole other level of nut job. But like a few years back, there was somebody walking around downtown with a grenade, whether it was live or not.
That's true.
I mean, that's a game changer. Like,
right.
So I'm like, you know, like whether you think there's any interest in your home, like your home or your home state or city, whatever it may be, as a security threat in terms of terrorism or not, like, there's a lot of crazy people in this world. Like, they don't have to be brown people from like the Middle East in order for them to be considered terrorists or to bring a real level of danger to like anybody's everyday life.
Shit, let's be honest. Right now, the stuff that's happening here, a lot of them are brown. Like, let's be real. Fuck it. We're being real as possible. They're not brown or the people that you would put a face to that we've been taught to be the ones that are doing all this stuff. You get what I'm saying? So, like Zia was saying, if they're homegrown, whatever it is, I think one of the biggest steps that you have to take is to make people realize no matter, you can be in fucking Iowa, where there's probably like nothing going on, and if you're opinion in your Iowa, I don't give a shit. But
and my brother in Iowa, man.
That's cool. I like your brother. He's cool as too. I'm just saying, like, there's nothing really big there that somebody would, like, if you had Iowa versus Milwaukee, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to live in Iowa because it really ain't nothing going to happen here. It doesn't matter. Somebody can go do something there. So the first step is to stop saying what couldn't happen where you stay because it can happen anywhere. Not to create fear in you, but to actually just be prepared for the possibility that it can happen anywhere. You can't say, oh, it's only going to happen in New York. It's going to only happen in
so then now we're getting to, like, the other aspect of this. Because, like, a lot of the terrorism that, like, initially incited this whole war on terror was explosive-based. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you fly a plane into the towers, you try to blow up the towers. It was it was a bomb in one form or another. But
Right.
like a lot of what we're seeing nowadays.
Wow.
Okay, New York, the guy just picked up a truck and like.
That's,
Ran.
it's
Yeah,
a lot of vehicular manslaughter. That's a
Well-
big word. Vehicular manslaughter.
But I mean, even beyond that, like you know what I mean, lives were lost.
Right. Exactly.
But like the issue that everyone doesn't want to address in these United States is the fact that a lot of the terrorism that we're seeing is fueled by guns, automatic weapons, however you want to look at it. And I already know that you can't even really bring up the issue of gun control in this country.
Man.
But
that's another on-site conversation.
right, but I'm just
'Cause
saying,
that's
like,
deep.
but
Right.
that's the truth though. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
I get
looking
you. No,
at
you
it
can't
like,
talk about one without
okay,
the
it's
other.
one
Right.
thing to be like, okay, oh, you need to be prepared for a terrorist attack because it's going to be like anthrax in your mailbox, or it's
Right.
going to be like a bomb in a backpack. But it's like, okay, like we live in a concealed carry state. Somebody has a bad day, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Well, that goes back. I want to segue back to something that was mentioned before. You mentioned about rights. Basically, it seems like the more security you long for, the more rights or the more
Good.
privacy gets invaded. I remember after 9/11, once again, there was also a change in your
Me
cell
too.
phones, where all your cell phones had to have GPS, all your cars have to have some type of tracking. And that was that Cash for
Right.
Clunkers thing, because a lot of clunkers didn't have a GPS, so it's like, well, get rid of that, because you want this really nice car, but we need to track you. Is there a line that should be drawn in terms of the privacy
Yes.
or the...
There is. Like, nobody should be, like, look, safety is important, and you know what, as, like, a country, I don't think anyone here is interested in, like, giving up their privacy to that degree. Don't get me wrong, there are people that are like, oh, I have nothing to hide, so what do I care if they're reading my emails or, like, listening to my phone conversations or, you know, whatever, what are the Amazon products now? The Echoes or whatever.
Yeah.
Your smart TV is listening to you or
Oh.
whatever it may be. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you should never have to forfeit privacy for security. Like, if you actually decide, like, if people were more aware, if people weren't so lost in the everyday distractions, do you really think that somebody could say, like, rent a room at a hotel, bring 10 rifles in, and nobody
Man,
notices?
Wow. Wow.
Like,
Which-
and to this day, I don't believe that. Like, there's no way you bring that
That's
much
not possible.
firepower
It's
in
not
and
possible.
nobody notices. But that's just exactly it. Like, you don't need to forfeit your privacy for that. Like, let's just be more vigilant. Like, that's really all it really comes. Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, why do you, like, so who here would actually be okay with forfeiting that level of privacy for a little bit more security? Because let's be honest, people will find a way. Like, if somebody wants to cause you harm, whether they're being tracked 24/7 or nobody even knows they exist, they'll find a way to do whatever it is they want to do. And I don't think that the loss of privacy would make things that much harder, because let's be honest, we don't really have that much privacy to begin with.
I completely agree.
Wow. Deep stuff.
I'm just saying. Like, it's not. I don't think it's
So-
really worth it.
So, in concluding, and like final thoughts on the whole matter,
It's
that-
cold.
right?
It is a bit nitty.
But as far as the terrorist threats and what we should do as families and fathers and mothers and things
Look.
like that, is there a procedure that can be done to at least alleviate? There's the fear aspect, and then there's the where's my loved one
Right.
portion.
Look, it comes down to the basics that you were taught, like that your parents and teachers taught you as a kid. Like, you don't necessarily deal with strangers. Like, right? Stranger danger. Everyone knows stranger danger. You see something weird or something that just doesn't seem right, you move away from it, and or you tell somebody about it.
Quick story, and this is slightly off topic. Somebody tried to kidnap my brother, and he's in his 20s, right? So check this out. Like a white van pulled
Dumb
up trying
idea.
to lure him in. So this stranger danger thing, hey, it's real. Even when you grown, just throwing that in there as a side thing.
Right.
Continue.
But no, I mean, like, it's just, like, if you teach
And we're good. All right. My name is Steven. This is Brothers on Site, and I'm here with
Jeff.
Jeff. Just wanted to ask you one quick question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how prepared do you feel you and or your family is for a terrorist threat or a terror event?
About a 2.
About a 2. Why do you say a 2?
It's just so random and so the attacks are so random and so unpredictable that you could think by not going to certain places you'd be safe, but you wouldn't know because it's way too random, the type of attacks. The only thing I can see is by staying away from big groups of people. It would be maybe my main path to stay safer is to stay away from crowds.
Do you have children?
Yeah, I have children.
Do your children know your phone number specifically?
No, they only know it because it's in their phone. They wouldn't have it otherwise.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Take care, Jeff.
Yeah.